Good morning if you're watching at home, if you're watching on YouTube. Hello, Molly Stevens is with us, Kwaku Afari and Daniel Khan as well. Good morning to you all. And we're going to start with a line then and talk about the intriguing situation surrounding Alejandro Garnacho. The Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim addressed the winger's future, who is the subject of continued interest from Chelsea in this window.
Welcome back to the United News, where we bring you the latest Manchester United transfer drama that has Old Trafford buzzing with excitement and controversy. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into three massive stories that could completely reshape United's squad this summer. First up, the shocking Rasmus Højlund saga that has divided the fanbase. The £64 million striker that United paid top dollar for just 2 years ago is now being offered to Inter Milan for less than half that price. We're talking about a potential £30 million loss, and Fabrizio Romano has been tracking this story closely as Inter push hard to secure their Danish target. But here's the twist: United are reportedly choosing to keep Joshua Zirkzee over Højlund, despite Højlund having better stats last season. What's really going on behind the scenes at Old Trafford? Then we have the Patrick Schick situation that nobody saw coming. The Czech striker just had the season of his life with 27 goals for Bayer Leverkusen, and multiple Premier League clubs are circling. But here's where it gets interesting: Erik ten Hag has just been appointed as Leverkusen's new manager, creating a fascinating connection that could either help or hinder any potential deal. Is Schick the practical striking solution United need, or are they settling for second best? And finally, the story that could change everything: United's potential £90 million summer clearout. We're talking about Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Antony, and Casemiro all potentially heading for the exit door. Financial experts are saying this could save United almost £90 million in wages alone. Rashford's £300,000 weekly salary, Casemiro's £350,000 wages, and the combined cost of keeping players who aren't delivering, it's a numbers game that could define United's entire transfer strategy. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's revolution at Old Trafford isn't just about new signings, it's about making the brutal decisions that previous regimes avoided. Are we witnessing the end of United's sentimental approach to squad building? And what does this mean for the players who've been given chance after chance to prove themselves? Stay with us as we break down every angle of these developing stories, analyze what the experts are saying, and discuss what this means for United's chances of returning to the top of English football. The summer transfer window is heating up, and these decisions could make or break United's season before it even begins. Is Rasmus Højlund really about to leave Manchester United? The transfer drama that has fans divided. Picture this: you spend £64 million on a promising young striker. 2 years later, you're willing to sell him for almost half that price. This is exactly what's happening at Manchester United right now with Rasmus Højlund, and it's got everyone talking. The 22-year-old Danish striker who once looked like the future of United's attack might be packing his bags for Italy. Inter Milan wants him badly, and according to reports, United might just let him go. But is this the right move for the club? The current situation: what's really going on? Right now, the football world is buzzing with talk about Højlund's future. Inter Milan has made him their top target for this summer transfer window. They're not just interested, they're actively working on making this deal happen while they're competing in the FIFA Club World Cup in the United States. But here's where it gets interesting. Manchester United, who paid a massive £64 million for Højlund just 2 years ago, are now reportedly willing to sell him for somewhere between £34 million and £38 million. That's less than half of what they originally paid. Why would they do this? The answer isn't simple, and it's causing quite a stir among United fans. Why would United want to sell Højlund? Let's be honest about Højlund's time at Old Trafford. It hasn't exactly gone according to plan. When he arrived from Atlanta, expectations were sky high. United fans were excited about having a young, talented striker who could score goals for years to come. But football doesn't always work out the way we hope it will. In his 2 seasons at United, Højlund has struggled to make the impact everyone expected. His goal-scoring record hasn't been impressive enough for a player who costs so much money. For a club like Manchester United, which expects immediate results and consistent performance, this has been disappointing. The club is also looking at their financial situation. They want to raise money quickly to fund other transfers this summer. Names like Victor Gyökeres and Victor Osimhen are being mentioned as potential targets. To buy these players, United needs cash, and selling Højlund could provide that. There's also the matter of squad planning. Reports suggest that manager Ruben Amorim has been thinking carefully about his attacking options. Surprisingly, the club has reportedly decided to keep Joshua Zirkzee instead of Højlund, even though Højlund actually had more goal contributions than Zirkzee last season. This decision has left many fans scratching their heads. If Højlund performed better, why keep Zirkzee? The answer might lie in other factors like playing style, attitude, or how well each player fits into Amorim's tactical plans. What does Inter Milan see in Højlund? Inter Milan's interest in Højlund tells us something important. One of Europe's top clubs doesn't pursue a player unless they see real potential. So what do they see that maybe United doesn't? First, Højlund is still very young at 22. In football terms, he's barely gotten started. Many great strikers don't hit their peak until their mid-20s or even later. Inter might be betting on his future development rather than judging him purely on his current form. Second, Serie A might be a better fit for Højlund's playing style. The Italian league is different from the Premier League. It's often more tactical and less physically demanding. Some players who struggle in England find their form again in Italy. Inter Milan has also been very successful in recent years. They've won Serie A and consistently perform well in European competitions. For a young player like Højlund, joining a winning team could boost his confidence and help him develop his game. The Italian media has been using interesting metaphors to describe their pursuit of Højlund. They compared him to Jonas Vingegaard, the Danish cyclist who won the Tour de France twice. They're suggesting that Højlund is ready to climb on the pedals and reach new heights in his career. The money side of things. Let's talk numbers because they matter a lot in modern football. Manchester United paid £64 million for Højlund in 2022. Now they're reportedly willing to accept between £34 million and £38 million. That's a huge loss on paper. But football finances aren't always straightforward. Sometimes clubs have to cut their losses to avoid bigger problems later. If United believes Højlund won't succeed at Old Trafford, keeping him could be even more expensive in the long run. Player wages are also a factor. Every week that Højlund stays at United without contributing significantly to the team's success is money that could be better spent elsewhere. His wages could help fund part of a new striker's salary. There's also the question of how the transfer would be structured. Inter Milan reportedly prefers a loan deal with an obligation to buy later. This is common in Italian football and would allow them to spread the cost over multiple years. However, United reportedly wants a straight cash sale, which would give them immediate funds for their own transfer business. What do the fans think? The United fan base is split on this potential transfer, and you can understand why. Some fans feel disappointed that a player they had high hopes for might be leaving so soon. They invested emotionally in Højlund's success and feel let down by his performances. Other fans think selling him might be the right move. They argue that if he's not good enough for United, why keep him? They'd rather see the club use that money to buy a striker who can make an immediate impact. Then there are fans who think United should give Højlund more time. They point out that many great players had slow starts to their careers. They worry that United might be giving up on a player who could still become very good. This division among fans reflects the difficulty of the decision facing the club. There are valid arguments on all sides, and it's not clear what the right choice is. How does this affect United's transfer plans? If Højlund does leave, United will need to replace him. The club has already been linked with several high-profile strikers. Victor Gyökeres from Sporting CP is one name that keeps coming up. He's been scoring goals consistently and might be exactly what United needs. Victor Osimhen is another option. The Nigerian striker has proven himself at the highest level and would certainly add quality to United's attack. However, he would likely cost even more than what United originally paid for Højlund. The sale of Højlund could also affect other areas of the squad. With more money available, United might be able to strengthen other positions too. The defense and midfield both need attention, and extra funds could help address these areas. The manager's dilemma. Ruben Amorim faces a tough decision. As United's manager, he needs to build a team that can compete at the highest level. This means making difficult choices about which players to keep and which ones to let go. Amorim has reportedly decided to keep Xerxes over Højlund, despite Højlund's better statistical performance last season. This suggests that the manager sees something in Xerxes that fits better with his tactical plans. But managerial decisions in football can be unpredictable. What looks like the right choice today might not seem so smart in a year's time. Amorim will be judged on results, and if United's attacking players don't perform well next season, questions will be asked about this decision. What could go wrong? Let's consider the risks of selling Højlund. The biggest risk is that he might fulfill his potential elsewhere. If he moves to Inter Milan and becomes a top striker, United fans will always wonder what might have been. This has happened before in football. Many clubs have sold young players who later became stars at other teams. United fans still remember players like Paul Pogba, who left United as a young player, became world-class at Juventus, and then returned to United for a huge fee years later. There's also the risk that United's replacement signings might not work out. Football transfers are always uncertain. Even expensive, proven players sometimes fail to adapt to new clubs and leagues. On the other hand, keeping Højlund has risks too. If he continues to underperform, his value will keep dropping. United could end up stuck with a player who doesn't contribute much to the team but costs a lot in wages. The bigger picture. This situation reflects some of the broader challenges facing Manchester United in recent years. The club has spent enormous amounts of money on players, but the results haven't always justified the investment. This pattern of buying expensive players and then selling them at a loss has become too common at United. It suggests problems with scouting, player development, or both. The club needs to get better at identifying the right players and helping them succeed. The Højlund situation is also a reminder of how quickly things can change in football. 2 years ago, he was seen as one of the most promising young strikers in Europe. Now he might be leaving one of the world's biggest clubs because he hasn't met expectations. What happens next? As things stand right now, it seems likely that Højlund will move to Inter Milan this summer. The Italian club is pushing hard to make the deal happen, and United appears willing to sell. However, football transfers can change quickly. Until a player signs a contract with a new club, anything can happen. Personal terms need to be agreed, medical examinations must be passed, and both clubs need to finalize the financial details. There's also the possibility that Højlund himself might have second thoughts. Moving to a new country and league is a big decision for any player. He might decide he wants to fight for his place at United instead of taking the easier option of leaving. Final thoughts: the right move for everyone? So, is selling Rasmus Højlund the right decision for Manchester United? The honest answer is that we won't know for sure until we see how this story plays out over the next few years. From United's perspective, selling a player who hasn't lived up to expectations might make sense, especially if it helps them buy someone who can make a bigger impact. The club needs to be ruthless in its pursuit of success. From Højlund's perspective, a move to Inter Milan might be exactly what his career needs. Sometimes a change of scenery can transform a player's fortunes. The Italian league might suit his style better, and playing for a successful team like Inter could boost his confidence. What's clear is that this transfer saga highlights the high-pressure world of modern football. Young players are expected to succeed immediately, and there's little patience for gradual development. This can be harsh, but it's the reality of playing for clubs like Manchester United. Whether this deal happens or not, it serves as a reminder that success in football is never guaranteed. Expensive transfers can fail, promising players can struggle to adapt, and even the biggest clubs sometimes have to cut their losses. For Manchester United fans, the hope is that whatever decision the club makes will ultimately help them return to the top of English and European football. Whether that means keeping Højlund and helping him develop, or selling him to fund new signings, only time will tell if they've made the right choice. The transfer window is always full of surprises, and this story is far from over. Whatever happens next, it's sure to keep United fans talking and debating for months to come.